Early history. The Department of Mechanical Engineering of Jadavpur University is one of the oldest departments established under the aegis of NCE Bengal, National Council of Education Bengal. This department, in fact, became functional in 1906 itself, when the NCE came into existence, at which time it used to offer a diploma course. As mechanical engineering is generally considered the mother of all engineering disciplines, all of which have to teach some of the core subjects of mechanical engineering, such as engineering drawing, mechanics, machine design, workshops, heat engines, etc. It is the largest department under the Faculty of Engineering and Technology in terms of both its physical infrastructure and teaching resources. Besides, the very term mechanical engineering was in those days synonymous with machines of various types who were also considered engineers and from whose work the discipline of mechanical engineering evolved. Mechanical engineering education was in our reality the understanding and application of science in the production of goods and services from for humanity. During the days of the freedom struggle, several luminaries who had graduated from this department had set up their own industries as entrepreneurs. They went on to become homegrown industrialists, fulfilling the nationalist aspirations to which they were beholden. Bright students of the department also occupied important positions in both private and public enterprises, as mechanical engineers are required in all types of industries. Student intake was also much more in the mechanical engineering department as compared to the others. As job opportunities were greater in the trade, it was observed over time that the better students would opt for mechanical engineering as their first preference. The highest sources in the school leaving board examinations would always choose it, the Department of Mechanical Engineering, therefore assumed a sort of mentorship role on campus. The sheer strength of its numbers, its size, infrastructure, and quality of students, if marks in the board examination are any indicator of merit would help it to become the dominant department within the faculty FET, that is Faculty of Engineering and Technology. In course of time, the preference of the best students, however, shifted to computer science and engineering in view of the fact over 80% of all jobs in engineering are now in the field of IT. The Department of Mechanical Engineering is actively engaged in various research projects of national importance involving organizations like DRDO, the BRNS, the DST, the ARDB, and the NSTI, to name a few. The teachers of the department are also actively involved in developing and disseminating new technology to industries and practicing engineers. The department boasts of an excellent workshop with state-of-the-art facilities including CNC machines. Department of Mechanical Engineering has a sanctioned strength of 79 faculty, out of which 60 are currently in its employ, including 8 professors. The department has sponsored research projects from the DIST First, the AICTE, and the UGC SAP CAS initiatives. Further, a few international collaborative projects also exist within the department's ambit, but those are relatively old. The Department of Mechanical Engineering at Jadavpur University has a long list of distinguished alumni, but it appears as though the university is not in touch with them all and might not even be aware of many of them. This is something that the Alumni Association may look to rectify for the future benefit of the university. The research focus of the department has not been clearly stated except a generic statement that the department is actively engaged in research on applied mechanics, thermofluid sciences, design and manufacturing technologies. This statement does not align the department's teaching and research focus with the challenges confronting industry 4.0 and society 4.0, where mechanical engineering should have an important role. It also appears to this observer that a separate department of production engineering has taken away a lot of the shine and importance of the Department of Mechanical Engineering. The only way to address this is for the department to initiate joint, collaborative and interdisciplinary research activities. During the formative days of the university, Dr. Triguna Sen had been a part of the Department of Mechanical Engineering, and Professor Satish Bhattacharya and Professor Gopal Chandra Sen had created a strong foundation for the department. As mentioned earlier, many of the early alumni of this department occupied senior positions in the government as well as in industries, including private enterprises, and numerous others served as vice chancellors or directors of IITs and other national research institutions. Some of these teachers who had continued to serve the department till their retirement have been written of in the section to follow. Professor Amitabh Bhattacharya was a senior faculty member in the Department of Mechanical Engineering, but in latter years established a separate Department of Production Engineering and has therefore been covered under that head. The Department of Mechanical Engineering used to take a keen interest in organizing the industrial exhibition in Jadavpur as early as in 1936. Industries participating in the exhibition had been set up by promoters with technical knowledge and support from Jadavpur University. While searching through the literature, I have found some references which are almost 100 years old. The department was involved in designing several processes that were of practical use to the industries of the time. While the process for making safety matches had been devised by the Department of Chemical Engineering, the machinery required for matchmaking was developed with the support of the Department of Mechanical Engineering. At the time, H.R. Brothers Limited were manufacturing matchmaking machinery, whereas Bengal Scientific and Technical Works were producing gas mantles. There were graduates from Jadavpur University in both these companies as well as other leading industries in the West Bengal. For example, Pramod Ghosh was an alumnus of JU who worked at the Ichhapur gun factory. In the following section, we will cover the lives of these two leading faculty members, both of whom are no more with us, who have served the Department of Mechanical Engineering with distinction. Professor Satish Chandra Bhattacharya and Professor Rajat Kumar Chakraborty. Professor Satish Chandra Bhattacharya. Early life and education. Satish Chandra Bhattacharya was born on August 20, 1894, although his actual year of birth is said to be 1896 in Calcutta to Upendranath Bhattacharya and Prabhavati Devi, who were then living at 52A Mirzapur Street, now known as Surya Sen Street. Satish Bhattacharya's family was originally from Rajpur in the south 24 Parganas district of West Bengal. His grandfather, Dr. Srinath Bhattacharya, was a medical doctor and also a Sanskrit scholar and was felicitated as a Vidyanidhi. Satish Bhattacharya was married to Charubala Devi and had 4 daughters. By any standards, Professor Satish Bhattacharya was highly educated, having obtained the highest qualifications possible in both science and engineering. He finished his MSc in mixed mathematics, now called applied mathematics, from Calcutta University in 1918. It was widely held during the time of Meghnad Saha and Satyendra Nath Bose. Mixed mathematics means astronomy, hydrodynamics, dynamics, and several mathematical subjects. However, by referring to the mark sheet of Satyen Bose, who also did his MSc in mixed mathematics and whose record has apparently never yet been broken, I found that there were 8 subjects taught under the aegis of mixed mathematics. Satish Bhattacharya later studied both electrical and mechanical engineering in the BTI under the NC, the National Council of Education, and developed expertise in wide variety of science and engineering subjects, which contributed towards making him the knowledgeable teacher he would go on to become. He obtained his doctorate of engineering, Dr. Inch, at the Berlin University in Germany in 1926. After completing his mechanical and electrical engineering degree from the BTI, Satish Bhattacharya joined there as a teacher in 1921. since Triguna Sen started studying at the BTI in 1923, he was briefly also a student of Satish Bhattacharya before the latter left for Berlin in the same year for advanced studies in mechanical engineering. Gopal Chandra Sen was one of the most favored students of Satish Bhattacharya before eventually becoming his junior colleague at the CET, a person of extraordinary talents. Professor Satish Bhattacharya was involved with the Department of Mechanical Engineering at Jadavpur University since its NCE days and worked there till his retirement in 1960. He was a hard worker and, according to some accounts, was a strict disciplinarian. Others remember him as an extremely gentle person who was very amicable in his dealings with the student community. A variety of opinions show that he was a professor who had a deep impact upon those he taught or interacted with Satish Bhattacharya. Was the principal of the Bengal Technical Institute before it was renamed as College of Engineering and Technology from 1943 to 44. Triguna Sen took over from him as principal in 1944. He played a leadership role during the formative years of the Department of Mechanical Engineering. Satish Bhattacharya was credited with setting up two important laboratories in the department known as the hydraulic and heat laboratories respectively. Satish Bhattacharya held a number of important positions in the department, having served as professor and head of the department from its inception and also as the Dean of Faculty of Engineering and Technology. After his retirement, he continued to serve the department as Professor Emeritus and was also the acting Chancellor of the university in 1967 for his lifelong contributions to the profession. The Association of Engineers honored him with the Kormo Birottama at a ceremony held at Rabindra Sadan 3 days before his death on February 24, 1974. His short biography was chronicled in a book on prominent Bengalis published by the Shishu Sahitya Sangsad, known as the Sangsad Bengali Choritabidhan. which covered about 4,000 biographies of illustrious Bengalis. In this compilation of prominent Bengalis, Satish Bhattacharya is referred to as a distinguished engineer and educationist. Besides carrying the details of his academic career, this publication informs us that Satish Bhattacharya had not only stood first in both mechanical and electrical engineering at the BTI, but had also received the top rank in the first grade mechanical engineering examination of the City and Guilds of London Institute. An incident was narrated to me by Ashish Bhattacharya, the nephew of Satish Bhattacharya, and 1972 graduate of JU Mechanical Engineering, that in 1959 Dr. Triguna Sen had approached Professor Satish Bhattacharya with a proposal to visit Massachusetts Institute of Technology MIT in USA for 1 week to acquaint himself with the latest improvements in the discipline, which would then adhere to the guidelines set for the grade A engineering colleges in the country. It was also the desire of Dr. Bidhan Chandra Rai, chairman of the Academic Council of JU and Chief Minister of West Bengal. Satish Chandra said in response that if the UGC and Dr. Bidhan Rai were interested in the upliftment of his knowledge in the field, he was willing to undertake the visit to USA at the institution's cost. However, if the idea was to improve the understanding of the students, he was not inclined to waste money for the visit, contending that he had not yet been able to disseminate even half of the knowledge that he had gathered in Germany in the late 20s amongst his students. I would wager that in the current context, no academic would be likely to decline a fully funded visit to an institution like MIT, but Satish Bhattacharya did consider the university's interest to be above his own. Principles of Machine Tools, written jointly by Gopal Chandra Sen and Amitabh Bhattacharya, was dedicated to the memory of the great pioneers of machine tools engineering, Dr. G. Singjar, and to their beloved teacher Satish Bhattacharya. The same book also refers to the notes on machine tools that had been delivered in class by Satish Bhattacharya, which speaks of the respect and admiration that his knowledge drew from other stalwarts in the field. Professor Satish Bhattacharya retired from the university as early as 1960s, long before I had entered Jadavpur, and it was difficult for me. That means the writer of this book telling, writer is Dr. Rajat Kanti Boshyo. Difficult for me to gather factual and anecdotal data on such an important and distinguished professor. He was one of those early veterans of Jadavpur University who had steered the university during its most difficult and formative years, when resources were scarce, academic infrastructure was inadequate to say the least. The fundamental role that stalwart teachers like Satish Bhattacharya had played in setting up the basic framework of the university in evidence by facts such as his creation of a laboratory of heat engines, which also contained a power generation plant. This plant would take care of the power supply of the entire JU campus till 1950s. Later on, of course, the CESC took over the responsibility of supplying power to the university. Providing quality education in that environment itself was a massive task, something which only the Satish Bhattacharya, with their knowledge, integrity and discipline, could have achieved. I was hesitant to include his name in the book at first due to the lack of material on him, but I was convinced by the impassioned arguments of a number of teachers who insisted that a history of the Department of Mechanical Engineering would be incomplete without him. In the end, I had to agree with them about his importance to this book and include his biography in its choosing to rely on the material that we were able to collect, because unless we crystallized it now, even this little information would get lost in the quicksand of history. The most common expression describing him was the Dr. Satish Bhattacharya was an institution unto himself, an expert engineer with sound theoretical background and a doctorate from Germany. He used to teach and also conduct research projects at a time when research activities in the field of engineering were rare in themselves. While I was writing this section on Satish Bhattacharya, the name of Professor Sudhir Chakraborty came up in many discussions as being his contemporary. Sudhir Chakraborty had been a student of Satish Bhattacharya and had 2 PhDs at a time when even a single doctorate in engineering was a rarity. His students gratefully remembered him as another competent and excellent teacher of his time. I was told that he was a bachelor and used to live in a boarding house near Shialda station. Samir Saha, founder, former head of the Department of Mechanical Engineering, and who had done his PhD under Amitabh Bhattacharya, told me that the latter would occasionally meet Professor Sudhir Chakraborty at his boarding house, and on one such visit, Samir Saha had also accompanied him. Samir Saha's account points to the respect in which Sudhir Chakraborty was held by a leading academic at Jadavpur University, and a lack of material on him shows the lacunae that will remain despite my best efforts. There are areas in which further historians of Jadavpur University can and should probe to recover and enshrine the lives of the great teachers and scholars who shaped the foundations of the technical education in the country and who have now slipped into oblivion. It will, however, be my endeavor to include these teachers in an enlarged edition later if an opportunity presents itself. A teacher par excellence, Satish Bhattacharya in the classroom. The greatest reward that a teacher can expect is the respect and admiration of his or her students. Satish Bhattacharya's students held him in great regard, something that they did not hesitate to mention in their annual volumes of Take. Professor Satish Bhattacharya was described thus in the Take of 1943. Dr. Satish Bhattacharya delivered his lectures with such supreme and calm self-confidence that it appears as if he is just giving us the tiniest bit of his gigantic knowledge. Actually, he has plenty of safety factors in the class, and no one has ever seen him stick out a design problem, be it tough or not. We are not judges of his knowledge, and we shall not even try to be. In 1944, students used their Take to describe him as a person through mirth and jokes. He discusses intricate theories of applied mechanics, making it so simple as well as jumbled and complex assembly of machine tools so vivid. His class of hydraulic machines runs at the highest efficiency, and his clear concept of machine design provides a very strong foundation for the building engineers. In short, whatever he touched, he turns that into gold. Such is our master brain, and unique and incomparable. I met a couple of JU alumni who were there during the mid-40s when Satish Bhattacharya was at the peak of his academic career. Mr. Shamol Gupta, former director of Tata Export Limited, said of Satish Bhattacharya that he was admired for teaching skills, and that the students were scared whenever they found him taking the oral examination at laboratory assignments. Ganga Ghosh, another alumnus of the department who currently lives in US and was a student of Satish Bhattacharya, said that he was a great teacher and researcher who taught us hydraulics and helped me personally while I was working for Oil India. Satish Bhattacharya carried the reputation of being a versatile teacher with mastery over a wide range of subjects, including applied mechanics, hydraulics, hydraulic machines, machine tools, and machine design. Satish Bhattacharya was instrumental in starting the Masters in Mechanical Engineering program in JU when he was the head of the Department of Mechanical Engineering and Dean of FET. It was inaugurated at a function chaired by Dr. Bidhan Chandra Rai, Chairman of the Academic Council, on December 26, 1956, in the presence of the first registrar of JU, PCV Mollik, who was the son of Raja Subodh Chandra Mollik, one of the founders of the National Council of Education. Professor Arun Kumar De, former director of IIT Bombay, former director of Central Mechanical Engineering Research Institute, Durgapur, and later chairman of the Atomic Energy Regulatory Board, described him thus. Professor Satish Bhattacharya was my respected teacher and my guru when I joined the college in 1943. After returning from Germany upon completion of his doctorate degree, Professor Satish Bhattacharya joined the department to Jadavpur. He was the teacher par excellence amongst all teachers in the department at that time. He taught us varied subjects with equal mastery and eloquence, like mechanics in the second year, machine tools and machine design in the third year, and the hydraulics and hydraulic machines in the final year of the course. His teaching method was very unique. There are no well-known textbooks on machines and on mechanics and machine tools. At the time, he used to write down on the blackboard what he wanted to deliver in exquisitely good handwriting and with neatly drawn geometrical diagrams. These served us as a good standard notebooks, and there was no need even to refer to any textbook. His solution to the worked out examples were also unique. He used the numeral 10 as the base and raised the exponents up to decimal points and got the answer without using the slide rule, and accurate enough to 2 decimal points. He made the fundamentals very clear and was an inspiring teacher in all the subjects that he taught us. I tried to emulate him in my teaching career. The work that Satish Bhattacharya did was immediately useful to the students, which made him an even more popular teacher. He authored a textbook on thermodynamics and also wrote a book on the lockable, both of which were extensively used by all students. Later, he also wrote a textbook on machine design. He was always seen in the department in a white dhoti and kurta. Arun Kumar De had this to say of him: I never saw him as a public speaker at any function. He was friendly and communicated well with his junior colleagues, and we often found him chatting with them in their common room. Consultancy practices were not very common in that era, they added, but I knew that Professor Satish Bhattacharya was a consultant to few small-scale industries at the time. Professor De himself was 96 years old and had given me this input in writing. He called me a couple of times to inquire when the book will be out, and I told him that his valuable input had been recorded and it has helped me to complete Satish Bhattacharya's biography to a great extent. Unfortunately, he passed away on October 30, 2020 at Apollo Hospital, Nerul near Mumbai. Arun Kumar De had the fact delivered the Satish Bhattacharya delivered the Professor Satish Chandra Bhattacharya Memorial Lecture at the 7th National Convention of Mechanical Engineers, West Bengal State Center, the Institution of Engineers India, held at Calcutta on November 28, 1991 on nuclear waste management and recycle technology. He had the following to say of his teacher there. He is telling, I have great pleasure in accepting the invitation and feel especially honored in being able to deliver the talk in memory of our beloved teacher, Professor S.C. Bhattacharya at the College of Engineering and Technology, Bengal, Jadavpur. Professor Bhattacharya was a teacher par excellence and was greatly respected for his deep technical knowledge, not only by the students and teachers alike, but also by the engineering community as a whole in the country. As a teacher, he excelled himself by making the fundamentals very clear first and then proceeding further to the core of the subject. He taught us many diverse subjects in the course of 4 years. His teaching method had its unique style and ingenuity. We always look forward to listening to his lectures in pin-drop silence, especially in subjects where there are hardly any textbook worth its name. He used to explain and write continuously on the blackboard the lecture content along with the worked out examples. His handwriting was so beautiful and his sketches so neat that we had all admiration and gratitude to the great teacher of his thoughtfulness. I remember clearly that while delivering a lecture in his class, sometimes in 1945, he introduced the concept of rest mass energy, which is the third form of energy besides the two well-known ones. One, kinetic energy and the potential energy. He briefly explained the famous Einstein equation E equal to mc square, relating the conversion of mass into energy, and which is the basic process involved in fission reaction and the experimental fusion device. It was in the same year that two atomic weapons were dropped by the US military forces on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The weapons proved conclusively the tremendous and energy that is concealed within the nucleus of atom. About 2 million people were killed and territories of land was devastated, creating much horror and panic in the minds of people all over the world, and a natural abhorrence towards the nuclear energy later on. The source of energy which could have been a boon for mankind for its use in peaceful purposes and solving the energy problem for thousands of years has now become a controversial one due to the misuse of science at the time by the war machinery. He breathed his last at his residence at 49A Purnachandra Das Road in Kolkata on February 27, 1974. A condolence meeting was held at Jadavpur to mourn the sad demise of Satish Bhattacharya, who had served the university in various capacities, both teaching and administrative roles. During his long tenure there, the members of the university recalled with gratitude his distinguished service and 4-decade-long association with NCE and JU. Professor Bhattacharya was loved, admired, respected by the staff and students, and was held in high esteem for his profound scholarship and rare devotion to teaching and research. The death of Satish Bhattacharya was a great blow to the field of engineering and technology in general and to Jadavpur University in particular. The university adopted the following condolence resolution through its governing body on February 27, 1974, extending heartfelt sympathy towards the members of the bereaved family. The members of Jadavpur University deeply mourn the sad demise of Professor Dr. Satish Chandra Bhattacharya on Wednesday, on 27 February 1974, who was professor and head of the Department of Mechanical Engineering and Dean of the Faculty of Engineering and Technology till he retired from the service, and Professor Emeritus of the University till the time of his death. The meeting recalls in gratitude the long and intimate association of Professor Bhattacharya with the National Council of Education Bengal, and also this university for about 4 decades. Professor Bhattacharya was honored with the degree of Doctor of Engineering by the university. He was a member of the university, and for some times he exercised the powers of the Chancellor. Professor Bhattacharya was loved, admired, and respected by the staff and students, and was held in very esteem for his profound scholarship and rare devotion to teaching and research, the death of Professor Bhattacharya has been a great loss in the field of engineering and technology in general and our university in particular. This meeting extends its heartfelt sympathy and condolence for the members of the bereaved family. He was conferred a Doctor of Engineering honoris causa, honorable, by JU in the year 1968 in recognition of his stellar contribution to its growth and success as a public funded academic institution.